4,000 subs. 4,000 people that actually care about what I have to say. I hope. I think it's time to give something that people have been wanting.
Oh, are you finally gonna make a top 10 Super Sentai insert themes?
Nope.
Ultraman suits?
Getting closer.
Everything wrong with superhero Tyson?
Okay, now you're just trying to spite me. Many of us have our own ideas for how to adapt certain series or ideas for our very own shows, so I'm here to tell you 5 of these ideas that I thought were very interesting, or at least interesting enough to be shared. Keep in mind, these choices are in no particular order, and of course, you can always share your own ideas in the comments below. Without further ado, 5 fan-made Tokusatsu ideas and adaptations. This is gonna be a bit weird as I'm gonna start out with the only honorable mention. We've talked before about Amit Bhamuk's proposal for a Go Busters adaptation called Power Rangers Cybercorps. It would be an alternate continuity that would have elements from RPM and Lost Galaxy. You can see more about it in Did You Know Go Busters down in the description. But you may or may not know that Amit Bhamuk actually had another pitch, but this time to adapt Shinkenger, which eventually became Power Rangers Samurai. This adapted version of Shinkenger would take place in Stone Canyon, the rival city of Mighty Morphin's Angel Grove. That's already an interesting way to start and get back to the Power Rangers roots, but then we get a lot of crazy ideas. A Japanese castle rises up from the earth which houses the villains of the season. Marcosatsu, the Red Ranger, would then get help from 5 strangers in order to fight these monsters. The interesting thing here is that the show would still hold a lot of Japanese roots as the Rangers would be half Japanese, and a lot of backstory would be about Mark's Japanese ancestors. My personal favorite thing about this pitch is that Bulk from the early Saban seasons would return to help the Rangers as an assistant, similar to the Kuroko from Shinkenger, and Bulk's son would become the Gold Ranger. There's still way more, but I'll let you guys read it for yourself. The link to Bhamuk's blog will be in the description. I'm gonna give a warning for this one as it may contain mature content. Garage Pro are guys that make their own toku. The catch is that they make it however they want, without having to listen to a corporation. I highly recommend watching what they have because there's a lot of great action and cinematography, but what I'm gonna focus on is Gun Caliber. A raunchy indie toku filled with toilet humor, but still great action. We already have Amazons for the violence and grittiness, so how about something on the opposite end of that? Except it's official. Imagine Gun Caliber but with a higher budget and a bigger team behind it. I already love the show, but making it slightly bigger would make it even more amazing. I know Toei would never want something like Gun Caliber, and even if they did, it would be very toned down and be focused strictly for children. And yes, I know the April Fool's hoax of Toei buying Garage Pro. In a way, I wish it was true, but Toei would ruin it, so I'm kinda glad it turned out to be a joke. Well, I guess we'll stick to the edgy Amazon show for now.
For those of you who don't know, I have created my own unique Super Sentai series. The title is called Shaman Sentai Mysticjar, and if you couldn't tell already, its theme surrounds the idea of shamanism and shamanic ideals and ideas. The premise of my own series, Shaman Sentai Mysticjar, surrounds 5 young children who 3,000 years ago were thrust into an ancient shamanic war which lasts every 3,000 years, known as a shamanic cycle. They awaken 3,000 years later in our present time. Their mission is to awaken the shamanic powers hidden inside of them, but also try and find out what happened in their past, what happened to their parents, what happened to their home, what happened to their tribe, what happened to their people. So as they're coming into recollection of those ideas, they start to come into contact with the evil villains of the series, which are an ancient race known as the Ancients. The Ancients are planning to turn back the sands of time and erase all modern civilization so that they can restart once again. And so the battle continues and the characters progress and they change. And I've really enjoyed writing this series for the past 48 episodes. And I really hope that you guys look forward to reading it. You can find it on DeviantArt. If you go on DeviantArt and you search Special Form 12, the journal section contains episodes 1 all the way through 48. The season finale will be up soon, and I really hope you guys enjoy it. And I have put so much work into this, and I really hope that you guys like it.
This question has been asked many times before. What if Kamen Rider was adapted for an American audience? Well, aside from the other times Kamen Rider was adapted for an American audience, Angus McGruff sort of answers that question. Of course, these aren't 100% official ideas, but I feel like they're pretty close to what we could get. They're a bit vanilla, but that's not exactly a bad thing here. Fruit Basque, based on Gaim, has a video game motif and it could work. There are other seasons too, like Tokusatsu, Wizard, and Drive that they've adapted, but let's look at Fourze Type 2. It's basically an English Fourze. No, really, that's it. But if we got this exact same video and gave it a budget, I think it would work well in the US. Then again, that's just my opinion. I know other people would rather adapt Drive, Gaim, Double, but I think Fourze would be a pretty good start. And who knows, maybe you could win a trip to Space Camp or something.
Hello, Gokai Orange here once again, and this is my idea for a toku show, specifically Super Sentai. Strap in, this could get a bit long. One of the earliest ideas for a Sentai show I had combined old school Sentai and one of my favorite games, the royal game itself, chess. This is Chusei Sentai, Chessman! Back in the Muromachi period, a battle of wits is about to take place. An elderly strategist on his deathbed is visited by a reaper, who has come to claim his soul. The strategist, not wanting to pass on yet, as he has plans for his general that could help win many battles, bets his soul on a game of chess, with the condition that if he wins, his life is extended. If he loses, his soul will lie in purgatory for all eternity. The man manages to win against the Reaper, but not wanting to be bested by a mortal, the Reaper curses the man to never age. Doing so curses the Reaper himself, who was sealed away for 666 years. Years later, in modern-day Japan, the man has become a teacher at a local high school, who also hosts a small chess club after school. One day, the 666 years are up, and the Reaper is released from his prison, along with a new skeletal army and hordes of monsters. Knowing he can't kill the man he cursed, the Reaper decides to go after the rest of the world, starting with Japan. Realizing the man is outnumbered, he turns to his chess club. 5 of his students choose to volunteer for this task, and with his old plans combined with modern technology, the 5 students become Chusei Sentai, Chessman. The suits themselves would have a very regal look to them, with capes, a royal insignia on the front, and their helmets would be shaped like the top of their respective chess pieces. Now for the 6th Ranger, Sirva Pawn, a child prodigy who gets transferred to the school. He can team up with any of the core 5 chessmen in a special move called Pawn Promotion, where he becomes a silver version of that particular chessman and gains the ability to use their weapon. Silver Pawn's mecha is the Grande Fischer, named after chess prodigy Bobby Fischer, which looks like a giant knight. I hope you guys like this, and I hope Toei does come up with a chess-themed Sentai team in the near future.
Hello there everyone, your favorite mad scientist Dr. Cranieum here. So since this is an interesting topic for a Toku countdown, and I am a part of this video, you would like to know some of my ideas, wouldn't you?
Master, no offense, but I do not think they care.
Anyway, for my segment, I've decided to come up with a Kamen Rider movie. And the movie idea in particular is Kamen Rider O's, and it is a sequel movie for that series. Mind you, a sequel movie for a Kamen Rider series is either a good idea or sounds like fanfiction. Okay, mostly just sounds like fanfiction, but hear me out. The plot of the movie takes place a few years after the events of Kamen Rider O's, with Eiji trying to revive Ankh, and the Kogami Foundation helping him while in exchange for researching on his core metals. While trying to revive Ankh, the Kogami Foundation accidentally creates an entirely new greed from all 7 sets of core metals. The greed itself is more powerful, intelligent, and greedy than any other greed ever. The greed also has strange reality-bending abilities, like creating yummies out of nothing, being able to turn people into greeds, and pretty much being able to grant anybody's wishes. And what I mean by that is like reviving the dead, or making $1 million fly into the air. There is no limitations. Okay, there are some limitations, but, you know, that's kind of obvious. Of course, Eiji goes over to stop him, but the problem is he has all his core metals. So that makes the movie much more interesting. I want some explanation for things that happened in Movie Wars Megamax, like how Ankh got revived, and how exactly the super metals were created. And of course, that's my idea for a Toku movie. Oh, also be sure to visit my channel. Seriously, I need the views.
Thank you all for watching. I really hope you guys enjoyed this because other people in the Toku community also need to be more known, which gives me an idea for later. But let's take a look on what's gonna happen next time.